talk about this. And as I was thinking about, my journey, we always talk about our journeys, and everybody's got different things. And my journey started in 2004 with LegalShield. And first of all, I thank the person that introduced me to the business, who's no longer in the business, so shame on him. I thank the Stone Ciphers for giving us this concept, this idea, this mission, this ability to help people. And in 2004, when I looked at the membership, it made sense to me. I was at a really good time in my life in 2004. I've got a background as a professional tennis player. I got an opportunity to travel the world. I've been coaching kids for decades, helping kids get college scholarships. In 2004, I was running the world's largest indoor tennis club in Chicago, Illinois, and life was good. I was making 6 figures, and LegalShield got introduced to me. And when I looked at it, I said, this is incredible. And then I made this crazy decision. I'm going to walk away from my 6-figure job and just go right into LegalShield. And that's not the smartest thing that you can possibly do, And at the time, I was, also getting ready to go through a divorce, which was, crazy in itself, to have to go through that. And, I wasn't the most model associate when I first started. In fact, what's interesting is I get my ring in Las Vegas. The very first convention I ever came to was in Las Vegas, and I didn't even go to the convention. I got here, I was having fun, I didn't even think about coming in. Seriously. I was that associate that you would call and you'd say, hey, listen, what are you doing on Monday night for the briefing? I'm like, I'm not going to a briefing. What are you doing on Saturday for Super Saturday? I'm not going to a Super Saturday event. I've got this going on and this going on and this going on. And, that's just the way I was. And so that was like the first 4 or 5 years I was in LegalShield is I didn't show up. And then in 2008, I'd actually met my wife, Amy, and I owe her so much. And the sacrifices that, that she made for us, in this business is tremendous. We were going through some real tough times. I mean, it was tough for a few years. And, so in 2008, I ran this trip, to the Dominican Republic. And I didn't know anything about, what the Performance Club trip was or anything like that. But we went, and we were broke. I mean, we had no money whatsoever. And that's not a good feeling, especially when you're used to making money. You're used to having it, and you got a new life, and you got all these things. But we went anyway, and we were on this trip, and I bought this necklace from a guy on the beach. He said, if you buy this necklace for $1, your life's going to change. And so I bought it. Still have it on today. I've never taken it off since that day in the Dominican Republic. And so, in 2009, after being in Performance Club consistently for a long time, I got a call from Mr. John Drennan, and he said, this phone call's long overdue. We had never spoken before. And he said, how many people can you put in a room? And I said, I think I can put 20. And I think we put 19. And at that point, everything kind of started for me. But then when it really started, I started plugging in more. I started showing up. I started to feel the energy that all you guys bring. And then in 2011, I was at a convention, and Steve Mealia was up there. And he was talking, he was talking about going on a 90-day run. And I said, you know what? I'm going to prove that there's no way that this can work. These things are way too simple. They are way too easy that this is going to make this work. And so I went on that 90-day run, and it works. Showed up for everything that I possibly could. Don't miss a single event. Be on every single call that you can be on. And now I live a lifestyle. When I was making 6 figures before, through all the pain of going through to get to LegalShield to where I'm at right now was so worth it. Because before I didn't have time. Now I've got time. I've spent the last 2 months traveling the country with my daughter playing tennis. Every single day. I don't miss a thing that she does. I still get to coach. I coach on my terms now, which is fantastic. And so listen, I want to thank so many folks. Steve Mealia, thank you so much for that day. Mike Mealia has helped me immensely. Don and Ellen Wilson, Frank and Teresa Coyne, I've listened to what they've had to say. John and Darcy Hoffman. So I just appreciate you guys listening to me for just a minute. And whatever journey you've got going on right now, just dig in. Because if you dig in, it's worth it.
Amen. All right.